Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So I think this reading is going to be really quick because I have to go to work and I feel like I still need to make the video. So after yesterday's video, I kind of went, did a little bit of meditation, energy work, whatnot, and I was sitting there in my peace, and to the left, I felt this feminine presence, and she was kind of creepy. She's not creepy like when you looked at her, but like, why was she there? And the reason that it kind of gave like alarm, because she kind of presented herself as like, oh, I'm so sweet, I'm so nice, like there's nothing to worry about here. But I was like, why are you even in my energy? Like, this isn't something that's like, oh, I just watched one of your videos and then I was like, oh, who's this? I'm interested to know that person. It was someone who had an awareness of energetic boundaries and they were crossing them. And here's the weird thing. She was like sitting in this chair and she was trying to hide herself. So that's where like the red flag was. She's like, no, I'm sweet, I'm innocent. And I'm like, then why are you hiding? If you're so sweet and innocent and you come with good intentions, there's no need to hide. And so I like looked over at her. She was sitting in this chair and she had like all these newspapers trying to cover herself up. And then she had this like thing on her eyes, so I couldn't see her eyes, because if I could see her eyes, I would have known everything. But she knew, she was smart enough to cover her eyes. But the only thing that I did see, it was her hair. She couldn't cover her hair. And at the time, the hair didn't mean anything to me, but Spirit right now is showing me like Native American tradition, how like memories and things are in your hair. But so she kind of exposed herself because she exposed her hair. I don't know, something about that. But it was like probably shoulder length, blonde and straight. And then everything else was hidden. And so I looked at my guide and I was like, why is she covered in newspapers? And they said, oh, she's been spreading fake news about you. She's gossiping. She's here to collect energy on you. She's energetically spying, and she's going to go and, spread the fake news. So obviously I was like, well, I'm not dealing with this. I don't have time for that. Guides, go deal with it. And they dealt with her. But when I woke up today, like, is that something to make into a video? And they said, yes, it is. Because there's lots of people who don't deserve to be in your boundaries, right? They don't have good intentions. As this one, I don't even know this person. Like, I think about the hair and I was like, people that I know who have hair like that are from my past, but like, it's not them. I just know their energy. This is like a new person, a nosy new person. And they pretend to be nice, but like, why would you go through someone's boundary? That's the weird part. So that's what we're gonna pull on today. The insights as to how to protect yourself. Like, obviously I was protected. Like, she wasn't doing anything. She just was like leeching so slowly, so subtly, that you might not even recognize it. And okay, interesting. So the first card, I did pull out Guardians of the Night Tarot because, well, she was hiding. And these are the ones that kind of like get to the shadow aspect of things. Like, I don't know, was she there for someone else? Is she someone else's informant and spy? I heard yes. And so, wolves have been a huge thing. Okay, let me fill you in on my story. I've been pulling cards. The cards aren't making sense. They didn't. I kept getting Queen of Swords, Queen of Swords, Queen of Swords, no matter what, especially reverse Queen of Swords. Like, Queen of Swords is someone who uses intellect, the mind. The readings lately are like, we're not using mind, we're using heart. We're just going to stay in peace and like go where we're guided to. But I kept getting these Queen of Swords, especially like angry ones. And that's her. That's what I'm seeing now. It's her. and she was just sitting and observing and watching and collecting data. Anyway, so I kept getting like wolves, right? Do wolves go in a pack, or is it a lone wolf? Like, what's that? And we just came through what? New moon? We're just in new moon energy. So here we have the moon with this wolf going through the trash, trying to find whatever it is that it could find, but it was in reverse. Because on that new moon, full moons usually illuminate things. So this is someone who uses the moon cycle, things like that, which is kind of annoying. I used to have, like, I don't know, you just don't have time to be like, where's the moon today, and being superstitious and things like that. But this person thought that they could be hidden, but they can't be hidden when you're doing your work, right? When you're following your heart, you're energetically letting go of all it doesn't serve you. If you have something toxic in your life, if you have trash in your life, you have to get rid of it, because that trash is what keeps you so dense and so heavy. And so this person was kind of coming, trying to start trash. They have a trash mouth, I hear. And it's funny because I love to swear. This person doesn't swear. This person defames and slanders. Ooh, rude. So then the next one to come out was the Two of Wands. It also was in reverse. But when I looked over here, right, there's a couple. The lion, lioness. Two of Wands is like a team working together, right? I said, do wolves work together in a pack? Is a lone wolf? But in this one, it was reverse. And so I felt these wands actually kind of look like blood, like shots fired. This person is just sneaky and manipulative on that side. So now I want to pull one more. They say bottom of the deck. I don't need to pull one more. Empress in reverse. This is someone who, and it was weird. I looked at them and I kind of felt like the same energy. Obviously they were in my energy, so they were pretending to be like myself. But with the Empress in reverse, there's two different ones here. There's a disconnect. Like, they're not the same. So this person, what am I seeing? They keep showing me the blonde hair. Like myself, I have blonde hair, but I've got curly hair. This person had blonde hair and it was like poker straight. And I don't know if there's like a, you're different than me, right? A clash of beliefs or values or something, but you're different than me. Therefore, you're the enemy. That you can't be what you say you are, because like I'm this. Like, someone, I don't know, they thought that they were in this Empress energy. Yeah, and they thought that they were the bee's knees, but then they see this other person, and this other person sparked something within them that caused jealousy, right? To turn the Empress, right? If they had just mind their own business, they would have probably been the Empress of their own life. But to actually go into someone else's and be as sneaky and like whatever the hell that thing is. And so I'm also asking, like, Spirit, I'm like, is this just a me thing? And they're like, no, this is a collective thing. That's why we're making a video. I was like, okay. This is just the vision that they showed me to share the story, and it's coming out in the cards. But also, if it doesn't resonate, use your discernment, because I don't want you to be like paranoid of like everyone. But it just seems like that there's, and this is the thing, it's like not being aware of false friends. This person's not your friend. They're not even in your circle. But somehow they feel entitled to be energetically allowed to, I don't know. It was in such a personal space that they had no right to be there. So I called all my guides. I said, yo, let's deal with this shit, because I just don't have time for this. I have to go do my spiritual practice, my grounding, my everything, my energy work. Because it's very important to me, and this person does not get access to seeing those kind of things. So let's take it to a global scale now, they say. This is like, we're calling in protection, because that's what I did. I was like, Archangel Michael, go deal with that. I called her a mean name. That's what I thought the Queen of Swords in the first one was me, because I had frostbite when I was 3. I almost froze to death. And when I almost froze to death, I just had really poor circulation, right? And I think my hands didn't work for the longest time. So if you don't use it, you lose it. So I've always constantly been like using my hands, working my hands. But with age, this is the weirdest thing. something changed, right? I took those months off. I was going through this change, and like something activated within me that was like the opposite of that, like heat, something. And we're in this new change, this new growth, this new cycle. Oh, so now we have the Chariot, which is all about going forward, moving into something new, letting the past go. It says an important achievement, self-discipline and willpower, public recognition. So this person is just someone who just knows you from the public, and they've seemed to have caught an obsession, an envy or a jealousy or something. And I kept always telling them I was going to make the video about the jealousy or the envy, that I have all these insights that I wrote. And I almost don't want to like tap into it, because like just letting the past go, like not letting these things affect you. Again, you don't want people to be paranoid that like everyone's out to get them or something, but there is a need to have these energetic boundaries. And so I find that like when it comes to self-care in yourself, it is so important to have that self-discipline and willpower, that you wake up every day and you eat the food that makes you thrive. You exercise, you listen to content that inspires you rather than being around negative influences. Because this person's a negative person. They acted the same as the Empress, heart-centered energy, but they really wanted to see like a fall of a partnership or something, right? Shots fired. They kind of liked this blood. That's what I'm seeing. And it's just so funny because they were using the moon cycles and they thought they could be hidden because it was a new moon. That's when it's the darkest. But when you work on yourself, everything's illuminated all the time. So she got shook. And again, I thought because of being frozen, I was the Queen of Swords, but nothing made sense in any of the readings. I couldn't figure this out for the longest time. And maybe that's why I didn't really do, I would leave them on here. And I was like, I'm going to make a video for the collective. And I was like, who the hell is this Queen of Swords? But then I found it. It was someone invading your energy from public recognition. You don't even know this person. This person just latched on. So normally in your relationships, you can mend and do those things. But what about those who you don't even know? Like you literally just walked down the road and someone was just like, I hate that person, right? Or maybe they did like you, but the more and more that they got to know you, there's just something different. Beliefs or something are different. And they're like, well, if I'm the Empress, this person can't be. So they need to use their... I heard trout mouth. I don't know. But anyways, the words that they say are fishy. There's something to it. I don't know. Maybe they have bad breath. I'm going to have coffee breath at this moment, but that's okay. I'll go brush my teeth. But when you have such negative spewing out of you, like that's your energetic, ugh, I don't know. This person knew, they just knew that they should not have been there, or else they wouldn't have hid themselves so much. And it was the eyes. And so I'm kind of looking forward to like when Spirit lets me look them in the eye. You can't hide the eyes. That's the window to the soul. So the next one is the Seven of Fire. And it says, defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, and choose your battles wisely. So this one wasn't actually like coming in and like pushing boundaries, right? Sometimes there's these energies that, you know, they're just there. Oh, they're not doing anything. There's no harm. But in the long run, there really was a lot of harm. They were sitting there and they were watching and they were plotting and they were twisting words behind the scenes. Everything was so behind the scenes and they thought that they were getting away with it. And so Spirit says like, yeah, maybe they're not coming in and like yelling at you and pushing and doing all these things. But this one is such a subtle thing. They show up as loving and caring, but they have claws. And so there's something to do with energy, right? Every night we clear ourselves. We do those kind of things. Protect me while I sleep. Do this like every day, cut cords. And somehow it's like they had this veil of something. I don't know how it just kind of, and Spirit said that they let it stay there because there's a lesson for you to learn about this one, because it seems so innocent and so, how can it harm you that much, right? It literally was like, I'm your friend. Oh, we believe in the same thing, right? We're here to help. But they wanted to be just, I don't know, let's pull more cards. So this one's in reverse. We have Ace of Cups, Ace of Water. Falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, a new home. I'm gonna need a clarifier on this one. Okay, relationship. It talked about a relationship, a reemergence of a relationship. And then we go back to this Two of Wands and that partnership being, right? And then there's blood trickling. And they're like, ha 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 ha, we love that. We love that for you. And that's not a true friend. That's not heart-centered. So this person's trying to stop something. She was in my home. That energy was in my home. And it said a new home. Like, that's the thing. This is your safe space. This is where you come back to recharge. This is where you are your most vulnerable and authentic self. So for them to invade your home and your boundaries like that, it's not cool. It's not okay. And then what's the next one to come? And so you should be allowed to say, feel at peace in your environment. So a lot of the times, let's say you got a lot of clutter around, dust, dirty mirrors, things like that. There is a need to kind of clean all those things, right? Especially like dark energies. That's kind of like where she was. Maybe there was one area and it's showing me past. One area of my past that maybe got a little bit of cobwebs, like got a little bit dusty. And that's kind of where she set up shop in the corner. So it's kind of, yes, physically go clean your house, right? Let that energy, get rid of that old, because negative energies can accumulate in just crowded, damp areas. Damp, why did I say damp? They're showing me the bathroom. Something to do with the bathroom. I don't know. But before that, with the memories, there's just something, and then to that side, I saw it as the past. There's just one thing of the past that you don't want to deal with. You kind of avoid it. But when you finally like turn and you actually do the light, you flashlight, and you're like, oh, that wasn't even a big deal. Like, what goes bump in the night? Nothing, right? It was just the lack of light. That's the only thing that shadows are. There would be no shadow if you didn't shine so brightly. So that's kind of what I'm getting is also this energy. Maybe it is from the past and there is a partnership in a new home. Is this like somebody's like new partner or ex-partner, like spying or something like that? Like that's what I mean. It's like, it's not connected to you, but it's connected somehow in the public outside of you. They got wind of you. They were like, she's not all that. But it really, it kind of started an infatuation of going into someone's boundaries and safety and things like that. So it was allowed for a while because it was so subtle. And that's what they're saying is we keep thinking that like all these karmic energies or these soul ties that we need to like let go when we put up our boundaries, those kind of things, that it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease. And it's like, be mindful of the super subtle ones, right? And so now it's taken me into actual friendships. It's like, who are those friends that are there for you when something good happens and they can't celebrate you? There's a little bit of tinge of jealousy or something. But that's what I'm getting is like, for the collective, message for the collective, you're doing really good. You've been walking your walk, your spirit walk, doing your thing, and somebody kind of caught wind of it. And at first it kind of started off with maybe an infatuation of comparison. They're showing actually, well, they can't be better than me. And then they just keep seeing you thrive and doing all these things and like choosing love and not retaliating and actually having, that's what I'm seeing. They invaded your personal space, so you shouldn't feel safe. But here you are feeling safe, feeling open, feeling confident, loving, right? And so the next one to come out is the Ten of Wands in reverse. Too much work, accepting help from others, life is out of balance, stress-related health concerns. You should be stressed. What is this? Like, why is nothing ever kind of working? It's kind of like a tweak behind the scenes. It's like, I'm doing really good. And then all of a sudden, like a stick would get thrown into your plans and then you digress. And that's what I'm seeing, this energy. It's such a subtle thing. And they kind of understand energy to kind of go into people. They read people. And so what I'm seeing is they want the mind. They want to prove that, oh, this person's mind is not right? They're overreactive. They're this, they're stuck in toxic patterns, but they keep showing up as the Empress. And the Empress is like loving and nurturing and mature and things like that. And so Spirit just wanted to see how you could react with all these like subtle jabs and pokes and things like that, and be like, it's fine, it's okay. And now that there's finally this like light shone on it, it's like you learned it's those subtle ones that are the sneakiest and cause the most harm in the long run. So in the I say it wrong every time, Letterman cards, there's the mice, and they're the ones that like eat the wires in the walls, right? They eat and destroy everything, and it's so quiet and like you don't see it. It happens when you're sleeping. It happens like behind the scenes, those kind of things. So it's I feel like a little bit of a corner, right? I keep seeing like a corner because that's where they hid. They hid in a corner, and they had this like, they were almost like homeless. So that's what this kind of, they gave me like homeless hobo vibes. And it said, falling in love, remember this is in reverse. Falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spiritual growth and enhanced intuition, a new home. So maybe somebody was always going through the trash and like defaming and doing all these mean things. And they were, I don't know, they just were a problem. They're not the type to fly off the handle problem, but the subtle jabs, and eventually you just get tired of them. You're like, I just can't deal with this, right? Because it's not an Empress. It was an Empress in reverse. Someone who's sneaky and manipulative, right? They want to shoot. They want shots fired. They want to see you bleed and like take, and it's the trout mouth. What they say is so fishy. There's just something wrong with it. Hey, look in this garbage can. So the wolf, there's actual fish coming out of the garbage can. What they say just never is nice. It's always a backhanded compliment. It's a something. And so now that Spirit said, now that you finally are like grounded and present, that was the thing. There was no presence. You weren't looking at that. Doesn't exist. It did. And so now that you like stood and you're like, whatever, and you looked over and you saw it and you didn't get spooked, you said, I'm going to deal with this. And so I had this one teacher, and she always taught me to lean into the sword than to die a death by 1,000 paper cuts. And so that's kind of that lesson, to lean into that. And once I did that, Spirit dealt with them. They're gone. They have no access. I feel bad for them what comes next, but it's out of my hands because Archangel Michael took it into his own hand. And he's got that sword of truth. So that trout mouth and all those lies and the defaming and all those mean things that they keep saying, truth and time will tell all. And so I don't want to say suspicious, but pay attention to those extremely subtle energies that don't wish you well. You feel it. You feel it in your gut. Your mind will tell you otherwise. They want to twist the mind to be into fear and skeptical and not trusting. But this is a beautiful world, and we're into our open heart. I refuse to stress. I refuse to fight. I refuse all these things. And that's where your real power is. And so Spirit will deal with it all. Let's just do one more, because I really got to get to work. It's the 10 of air. Look at all those unicorns. It says, the end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. It's recovering from an addiction, right? There's just something that you had to deal with. You wouldn't deal with it, so it doesn't exist. I will go do this instead. And that was kind of that avoidance. But we're dealing with things. We're standing. We're peaceful. We're happy. And Spirit just really wanted you to notice this really subtle, manipulative energy in the background, because it comes as a support. It could be somebody who maybe is a pillar of the community, right? There's those pillars. We want you to rely on me. I've got the knowledge. I've got the wisdom, but it just seems twisty, all the words. They don't ever make you feel good about yourself. And that's the thing. They have to tear other people down to elevate themselves. And they're judgmental. They're very judgmental. And the fact that they were hiding in the energy, they knew it was wrong. And so wipe your hands clean. People think that they can manipulate and go around, they can take their spirituality or these energies or their education and twist and manipulate things for their benefit, but spirit always is watching no matter what. So just keep doing the soul work and keep being happy, and they just really don't want you to stress and those kind of things, but they want you to do your due diligence. And what else? Go out and live with your grateful heart, because there's really cool things to come. And yeah, people will be jealous of you, but to actually learn this energetic boundary of not letting these things bug you, I heard haterade, I saw raid, and then I heard bitch be gone. As I said, we want to build each other up, but they were bugging. They were poke, 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 poke. And like, too much of that eventually is just going to be too much. And so eventually you had to deal with it. You had to lean into that sword. And it was a mind fuck, they say. Because again, as soon as you like shine the light on them, they get caught the hand in the cookie jar. They're like, I was just helping. No, you know that you're supposed to be on the other side of that wall. That's a huge invasion of privacy. And so protect yourself and just kind of clear your energy. There's these really subtle ones that are really tricky to navigate. And that's the one that Spirit really wanted to bring to everyone's attention, because they act like they're kind and they're caring and that they're a pillar of the community. But behind the scenes, they want to be on that pedestal of the Empress, I know more than you, and tear others down. And that's energy we just don't deal with here. So with that, I think we're going to leave it there. I have to go to work, so I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.